Okay, all of you open your deep story, second chapter from this other book. Footprints लोग हमारे साथ भी करते हो ना तो बोला था who's your partner there nobody else will come up तो ये उधर कोने में क्यों जाते हो that is you and that बोलना है you like sitting in the corner, no? That's what I'm saying. Why do you go to the corner?
ये देखो यहाँ सपोर्ट मिलता है उतना अच्छा बाकी ये बेंचों में इतना ऐसा कहाँ से
Okay, the key story. A young boy made friends with Anil. Anil trusts him completely and employs him. Does the boy betray his trust? Shall we start?
Yes, ma'am.
I was still a thief when I met Anil. And though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful man. So what was his profession? Yes, he was a thief. And he was good at it. How old was he? He was 15. And whom did he come across now? He met this person called Anil. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. He was about 25. So how old was Anil? He was 25 years old. A tall, thin fellow, and he looked easygoing, kind and simple enough for my purpose. Kind and simple enough for my purpose means his intention was to steal. So he seemed to be too simple, and it would have been easy for Hari Singh to steal from him. I hadn't had much luck of late and thought I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. I hadn't had much luck of late. Means of late, in the recent times, he was not able to steal too much. Right? He was not able to earn by stealing, and he thought that this Anil is a simpleton, so it will be easy for him to gain his confidence, steal and run off. You look a bit of a wrestler yourself, I said. A little flattery helps in making friends. Flattery is what? Maska marna. So he's saying flattery helps in making friends, so that initial hand of friendship is done. So do you, he replied, which put me off for a moment, because at that time I was rather thin. So why was Hari Singh put off? Because he said that oh, even you look like a wrestler, but then at that time he was very thin. Well, I said modestly, I do wrestle a bit. What's your name? Hari Singh, I lied. I took a new name every month. Every month. That kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. Ahead of the police means the police found it difficult to catch me, and also my former employers, because wherever he's worked before, he must have stolen, done some theft, and even those people would be after him. So if he takes on a new name, it will be difficult for people to find him, right? Because people will identify someone by his name. So he said it kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well-oiled wrestlers who were grunting, lifting, throwing each other about. I didn't have much to say. Anil walked away and I followed casually. So they spoke about wrestling, and then Anil walked away, and this guy, Hari Singh, he followed him. Hello again, he said. I gave him my most appealing smile. Appealing means जिससे वो impressed हो जाए, वैसा उसने अच्छा सा smile किया. I want to work for you, I said. But I can't pay you. Who says this? Anil says, I can't pay you. I thought that over for a minute. Perhaps I had misjudged my man. Misjudge means मैंने सोचा मैं चोरी कर पाऊंगा, इसके पास तो कुछ है ही नहीं कि मैं चोरी कर सकता हूँ. So I have misjudged. I asked, can you feed me? Can you cook? Anil asked, can you cook? I can cook. I lied again. If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you. Again, late. तू कैसे आगे पहला?
वो मैं जल्दी कर गया.
हाँ?
वो मैं नीचे लगा उसके नाम मेरे लिए नहीं उठा देंगे.
तू ले जाएगा इसके लिए. चला. मेरा बैग. Okay. So I thought over for a minute. So he says, if you can cook, then I can feed you. Page 9. He took me to his room over the Jumna sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. But the meal I took that night must have been Leila. A four sharing one book. So he took me over to his room over the gymnast sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. So it must have been so bad he didn't know cooking. But I just hung around, smiling in my most appealing way, and he couldn't help laughing. So now Hari Singh must have been embarrassed himself, but Anil didn't say anything to him. Okay? What a normal person would have done, he would have shouted at him, "Ah, kya tumne bola?" He would have fired him, "Go get lost." So he didn't say anything. Anil didn't say anything. Later, he patted me on the head and said, "Never mind, he teach me to cook." He also taught me to write my name and said he would soon teach me to write whole sentences and to add numbers. So he would teach him basic English and maths. I was grateful. So see this, I was grateful shows that Hari Singh wanted to learn to read and write, right? So which means nobody is, if a person is doing something wrong, it's not necessary that he is doing it out of choice. Okay, it may be because of the circumstances that he might have faced in life. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. It was quite pleasant working for Anil. I made tea in the morning and then would take my time buying the day's supplies. What's the other word for supplies? The groceries. Usually making a profit of about ₹1 a day. How you used to make that profit? Yes. So बच जाता था उसमें से ₹1 he used to keep with himself and the remaining he used to give. I think he knew I made a little money this way, but he didn't seem to mind. So Anil didn't tell him anything about it. He didn't tell him he was stealing or anything. Anil made money by fix and starts. Fix and starts means you don't get your money on a regular basis, like it's in the case of a salary. In between you will get, then maybe after 2-3 months you will get an amount, then again 3-4 months you might not earn. So it's very erratic. So we used to earn like that. He would borrow 1 week, lend the next. He kept worrying about his next check. But as soon as it arrived, he would go out and celebrate. What he used to do? He used to wait for his money to come, and if बार आ गया वो उड़ा देता था. It seemed he wrote for magazines. It would be a way to make a living. So what was Anil's profession? He was a writer. One evening, he came home with a small bundle of notes, saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. At night, I saw him stuff the money under the mattress. You can see the picture on the side, no? Below the mattress. So Hari Singh saw that he was keeping the money over there. I had been working for Anil for almost a month, and apart from cheating on the shopping, had not done anything in my line of work. My line of work means chori. I had not stolen anything else other than those 1 rupees that I was keeping with myself. I had every opportunity of doing so. Anil had given me a key to the door and I could come and go as I pleased. He was the most trusting person I have ever met. So sometimes it happens when a person trusts you a lot, yeah, you don't want to break that person's trust, correct? You are, because that person has a very good impression about you, so you don't want to spoil that impression. So similar thing had happened here. He even had the keys, उसको जब चाहिए वो चोरी करके भाग सकता है, but he hadn't done that. And that is why it was so difficult to rob him. Why? Because he was trusting. But if I see the last sentence of the previous para, he was the most trusting person. And the next para starts with, it was difficult to rob him because he used to trust him a lot. Then he says, it's easy to rob a greedy man because he can afford to be robbed. It's difficult to rob a careless man. Sometimes he doesn't even notice he's being robbed, and that takes all the pleasure out of the work. So this guy was careless. So he's saying it was difficult to steal from him. Well, it's time I did some real work, I told myself. I'm out of practice. And if I don't take the money, he'll only waste it on his friends. So that was like a justification he was giving himself for stealing the money. कि वैसे भी वो खुद पे ही उड़ा देगा, उससे अच्छा है तो मैं ले लूँ. After all, he doesn't even pay me, right? So this was a excuse that he was making, a justification. Now, yes, the stealing episode. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight swept over the balcony and fell on the bed. So Hari Singh used to sleep in the balcony. So there was a beam of moonlight which used to come through the balcony to the bed where he slept. I sat up on the floor, considering the situation. If I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Which train would he catch? 10:30 express going to Lucknow. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Crept मतलब creep, crawl करके जाना. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars because he was a thief. So maybe, while running, while escaping here and there, he had hurt himself. So he had much more scars on his face than Anil. Anil's face was clear and unlined. Unlined means no wrinkles because he was a good person. So he didn't have too many worries in life. Now, my hand slid under the mattress, searching for the notes. Here you can see he's sliding his hand under the mattress. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. Drew them means I pulled them out without a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. So what did Anil do now? He moved. Sighed means making those breathing sounds when you're awakened slightly. And he turned towards Hari Singh. I was startled. Startled is shocked, surprised. He got scared now. And quickly crawled out of the room. Okay, so now he's taken that the bundle of ropes and he's out. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist, held there by the string of my pajamas. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. So first he started running, then he slowed down. Yeah. What is happening? Papa, sleep properly at night, sleep early. What time you slept at night? And then, have you got a bed? 4 hours sleep. Here you sleep or what? That's keeping on the. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. 600 rupees in 50. So there were 50 rupee notes amounting to 600 rupees. I could live like an oil-rich Arab. Those who are sitting in the corner, be extra careful. If I see you all talking while I'm teaching, I'll make you sit here. तुम लोग और तुम लोग लड़की लोग अब मैंने लड़की को देखा those who are in the corner be extra careful मैं अब उन लड़कियों को बोल रही हूँ मैं बोलती हूँ सबको बोलती हूँ I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. Oil-rich Arab means I could spend money lavishly and it was 600 rupees. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life, but dashed straight out to the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. So what time was it now? 10:30. 10:30 Express. So the train was just moving out. The train had still to pick up speed and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages. But I hesitated for some reason I can't explain and I lost the chance to get in. So why didn't he go? Is it that the train was fast and he couldn't catch it?
No, he couldn't be there.
He couldn't. Yes. But as of now, he couldn't understand himself why he wanted to. He couldn't get it. But the actual reason was that he couldn't by any way train. Then, when the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. Deserted is vacant, empty. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. My friends are more trouble than help. Disturb करके पढ़ेंगे. तो अगर उसको डांट पड़ेगी, तो उसके वजह से फ्रेंड को भी डांट पड़ेगी. So like that. Okay. So here in this case, what friends were more trouble? That if we keep friends, फिर वो कहीं पे चोरी करके टिकट और जाएगा, then those friends will give all information to the people that wanted it. So it could land him in more trouble. अरे कभी मैं इसको बोलूँ तो ये बोलेगा ना कि ये बात कर रहा था मेरे से. नहीं बोलेगा तो ये बात ही नहीं करता. वो तो दिखता है. Okay. And okay, so I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. And I did not want to make anyone curious. Curious is here suspicious. By staying at one of the small hotels near the station. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. So whom did he know best? Ali. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. In my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. The greedy man showed fear because the man is greedy. So if he loses something, he is going to be afraid that he's lost it. He cannot. The rich man showed anger because the rich man has a lot of ego. So he is going to be angry. The poor man showed acceptance. The poor man is lost totally. He will say like ab kar hi kya sakte hain. That's nothing. Huh? What do you say? But I knew that Anil's face, when he discovered the theft, would only show a touch of sadness. Not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. So why would Anil be, what would Anil's reaction have been? Sadness. He would not be angry and he would be sad because he had betrayed his trust. I found myself in the Maidan and sat on a bench. Maidan is a normal Maidan, a ground. He sat on a bench. The night was chilly. It was early November and a light drizzle added to my discomfort. So it started drizzling now. Soon it was raining quite heavily. My shirt and pajamas stuck to my skin and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of a clock tower. Clock tower is like a big tall pillar with a clock on the top, and there's a small platform below that to sit. Okay, so that's where he was sitting. The clock showed midnight. So what time was it now? 12. What time was he at the station? 10:30. So now it was 1.5 hours past. I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. So they had all become wet. Anil's money. In the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema, but now I had it all. So now he was happy. अरे मेरे पास तो सब पैसा है. वो होता तो मेरे को क्या 1-2 रुपया देता और बोलता कि जाओ सिनेमा में जाओ. Okay, so he's thinking of this aspect and many other aspects. I couldn't cook meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. So that's something that he's going to miss doing. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Write sentences, whole sentences, I knew could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. Right? So he's saying it, I would be able to earn more and in a more dignified way if I had learned to read and write. It was a simple matter to steal and sometimes just as simple to be caught of. But to be a really big man, a clever and respected man was something else, which means even he didn't like what he was doing and he knew that the profession of a thief is not a respectable one. You understand? No. I should go back to Anil, I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. I hurried back to the room, feeling very nervous. For it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. Means बिना पकड़े मैं वापस रखूं. Because if he's stolen, he is escaped. It won't matter. But if he's planning to keep it, and that's when he gets caught, then he's gone. He's not going to be spared. So it is easier to steal than to return it undetected. I opened the door quietly. So now he's got back to Anil's house and stood in the doorway in clouded moonlight. Anil was still asleep. I crept to the head of the bed and my hand came up with the notes. I felt his breath on my hand. I remained still for a minute. So he will not move for a minute lest he wakes up. Then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the note. So he put those notes below the mattress. Did Anil catch him? No. So he was happy कि मैंने पैसा रख दिया और मैं पकड़ा नहीं. I awoke late next morning to find that Anil had already made the tea. He stretched out his hand towards me. There was a 50 rupee note with in his finger. What was there? A 3-rupee note, and he gives it to Anil. He stretches out his hand towards Hari Singh. So my heart sank. I thought I had been discovered. Means he thought मैं पकड़ा गया. But what does Anil say? I made some money yesterday. He explained. Now you will be paid regularly. What does Anil say? You are going to be paid now. अब तक वो pay नहीं कर रहा था ना. So now he says I'll pay you. My spirits rose. Why my spirits rose? क्यों उसको लगा मैं पकड़ा गया हूँ. लेकिन अब तो उसको समझा मैं पकड़ा नहीं गया हूँ. ये तो मेरे को सैलरी भी दे रहा है. So he felt good again. But when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. Correct? रात में वो पूरा bundle wet हो गया था because of the rain. So when he took that note, he understood that it is still wet. So means Anil को समझा था कि नहीं समझा था?
समझा था.
Anil had come to know, but he did not tell him anything. Today we start writing sentences. He said. He knew. Who knew? Anil knew. But neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way. But in what way was the smile different? And the smile, yes, came by itself without any effort. So now this was a smile from the nice lips. Understood?
Yes.
Okay, got your notebooks? I'll give you one question. First question. बातें मत करो ना भाई. Book. Write down the living thief story. Okay, first question. How was Hari Singh's appealing smile? How was Hari Singh's appealing smile? At the end, how was Hari Singh's appealing smile at the end different from similar smiles? Different from similar smiles of his. Yes, different from similar smiles of his on earlier occasions.
remember earlier उसने smile करके दिखाया
Amazing smile.
एक ही बार ही दिखा था
अभी तो बोला मैंने लास्ट में.
always the first smile of his
How was Hari Singh's appealing smile at the end different from similar smiles of his on earlier occasions? समझा question ना? 2 marks.
आंसर लीजिए मैम
Around 30 words. I am giving you more questions. Write a character sketch of Hari Singh.
अच्छा जो था successful handed
Character sketch write of 3 marks. Okay.
he was a
Character sketch Hari Singh. 3 marks. Second one. This was no.
3 marks 3 point 3 point 3 marks
3 marks around 40 to 50 words.
कितने वर्ड्स 40 वर्ड्स है Forty words.
I'm giving you. What kind of a life? See now, I have started with the question and you people are still talking here and there. What kind of a life was Hari Singh leading with Anil? अब तुम दोनों मत बोलना बात नहीं कर रहे थे. Last bench. What kind of a life was Hari Singh leading with Anil? Leading with Anil.
कितना
3 marks. Then next last one. कितने marks हो गए अब तक?
6 7
8.
9
No, next one is the thief story is an in-depth study of the human mind. Discuss. The thief story is an in-depth study of the human mind. Discuss. This will be 100 to 120 words. 6 marks. In-depth study of the human mind. Discuss. 6.
120 words 100 to 160
100 to 120.
बहुत ज़्यादा words
So in this you will write from the perspective of Anil and Hari Singh.
क्या careless है
हाँ वो
careless power of dreamers to
Anil kind होता है मतलब पहले Anil का perspective. He was not unsuspicious of people. He trusted people. There's one term called let the person save his face. मतलब पता है तुम लोगों को क्या influence नहीं let the person save his face means अगर तूने चोरी किया है तो मैं तेरे को अटैक करके नहीं बोलूँगी ये चोरी क्यों कर रहा है because you're already guilty, no? So you save him. So that affects the opposite person more, right? So Anil was of that sort who didn't blame Hari Singh for his actions. And that is what made Hari Singh also more conscious and guilty of what he did. Okay? बहुत बात कर रहे हैं तुम लोग वापस आवाज आता है इधर और कुछ समझना नहीं है क्या इधर ये लोग बात कर रहे हैं इधर तुम लोग बात कर रहे हैं next time you all won't sit in the corner okay girls I'm talking to both you all will sit this side or if you are sitting that side you all will sit on the outside corner में मैंने तुम लोगों को पहले कॉल किया if you are sitting there I don't want that talking happening you are talking to that क्या है उसका नाम ये green
ग्रीन क्या हुआ मेरा क्या हुआ
you both were talking ये दूसरा नहीं बात कर रहा था he was talking ये था the girl was not talking both the corner ones I started dictating the question still but challenge सही है क्या Tell me इतना अपने दुनिया में भी समझना नहीं है कि क्या होगा So close the textbooks. Close the textbooks. There's nothing to see in the text. Close it. Everyone close. Don't discuss. Writing good and writing.
satisfied हुआ था नहीं मैं क्वालिटी लगा फिर कुछ बोला नहीं तो फिर वो कुछ लगा
So in the sense, yes, he continued living over there, and then he got reformed. मैं मानने को उसे पेमेंट दी थी या फिर उसने चोरी करा था किसी No, what must have happened, Anil, when he stole, Anil also might have realized that he needs money.
उसको पता चला कि इधर बन गया
Notes for that. उसको पता चला चोरी किया लेकिन उसने उसको बोला नहीं और उसको भी पता चला कि उसको पता चला बट उसने बोला नहीं psychology of how he got transformed even without him telling a word. Where you're seeing now, why the resource book is in your hand? Reference क्यों खुद से लिख स्टोरी समझा ना ना देखो अपने कुछ ना लिखो
Last question only was
Only
last question.
around 4 times. बात क्यों कर रहा था? Next time, listen. Next time, either wear clips or a hairband. All your hair is coming like this. So again, वो again वो हो रहा है. हाँ. Put some hairband now or clips at least. You don't like putting clips? Huh? नहीं ऐसा पूरा कर्टन के जैसा आ रहा है ना आगे कवरिंग योर फुल फेस है ना वन क्या बाहर जाती तभी बांधती है क्या लास्ट टी शर्ट टाइट सो योर हेयर won't come over your face.
Can be right saying all this later मतलब उसके अंदर इमोशंस आ गया और उसका पत्थर का दिल ये तो सकता है ना जो चोरी कर रहा था अपनी बात से काम करेंगे
He was not stone-hearted before, but you can say he was a transformed person.
मतलब क्या किड्स फॉलो करते हैं
Huh?
लाइफ किड्स फॉलो करते हैं
Yes. So that's transforms it, no? That changed him for the better.
we need his transformation those characters I mean this is a question we will write
What's the second question? Character sketch. Huh. पहले और बाद ऐसा नहीं आएगा. Character sketch means वो इंसान कैसा है. So he is a thief. Was he doing stealing willingly? He wasn't. So he wanted to learn. He wanted to grow in life, but he might have not got opportunities to do that. Character sketches qualities only. But ये नहीं आएगा कि वो पहले ऐसा बाद में ऐसा. It's not like that. Overall आएगा. What sort of a person he is.
अब उसके physical characteristics नहीं.
No, you can. You can
You
start
are a
off.
thin guy. पतला सा
अभी क्या? What? First bench, second bench. हरी सिंह का इंटेंट है, बट अभी वो कैसा है, वो क्या लिखा है? Yes, who had that part you can write. He has some scars on his face because of the profession he is in. He is 15 years old. He seems to have lived life independently and alone, without any support. Be friend is one. Be friend. Why? Who's talking about bench? Underwent the transformation. Underwent the transformation of a reformed movement, or he was reformed? Characteristics में हरी सिंह का अकेला मेंटेन You name everyone. Small part of the character. Gather you can
He was clever. He was
Yes, it was a genuine, genuine smile, which came straight from the heart. So what are you writing? Character sketch.
He was
Another aspect would be that he was aware of people's behavior. Yeah, he was clever in his profession. Actually, not Jane. ये characters get you like characters get ऐसे 40 no 40 to 50 3 months. He was clever. Boy guy लिखा है क्या वो जी हुई clever boy वैसा
मैंने भी गाय लिखा है
What are guy?
Okay, but you can write
थोड़ा स्लैंग होता है ना
First and second bench boys, have you all finished?
Yes, ma'am.
All you are finished. Then quietly write. बात क्यों कर रहा है? तुमने नहीं किया, पूछे वो बात से बात कर रहा He was doing all the work. ऐसा है
This story is a perfect example of power of trust.
Yeah, Hari Singh, repeat you सब आंसर लिख के फिर ही जाएगा बाकी 3-2-1 चाहिए ना फिर तो अब 3-2-1 सब इधर ही रहेगा कंप्लीट करेगा Okay, rest of the answers are complete at home. Only he is staying here. He will complete all He showed it to you. He showed it to you.
अब ये मेरे पे डालेगा मैं बोला अरे ये क्या पलटी मार जाएगा
किसने स्टार्ट किया
मैंने नहीं बोला मैम यू
क्या
कैन
बोला टाइम होने वाला है
मैम यू कैन नहीं मैम मेरे से मैम मैंने मैं इससे बोला था कौन सी ना बस
मुझे बोला के बाद
Hey,